How should we view him after this latest incident?
Just as a bit annoying, nothing more. Odell Beckham Jr. committed no crime. We know that the NCAA is bogus on so many multitudes of levels. We understand that they're far beyond irritating because every little thing is a problem. And we know how wrong the NCAA is consistently. NCAA, FBS, all of this other stuff. But Dominique, I was listening to you this morning on Get Up, and here is the one area in which I would challenge you and anybody else that doesn't get this point. As wrong as they are, you know that it's possibly a problem. Why bother? It's the national championship game. They just won a national championship. You know good and well. Odell Beckham Jr., first of all, he's smart. And oh, by the way, I don't know if y'all noticed or not, but if you ever, you watch Ballers on HBO, he actually appears on there from time to time. He actually does a really good job.
He can act, too.
He can act,
talented.
Too. He actually does.
Throw, hit, act,
I'm
kick.
just saying, the brother's talented.
Catch, obviously.
And that's a damn good show with The Rock. And by the way, our condolences to The Rock. Dwayne Johnson, his father passed away.
Yeah, I saw that.
Our condolences to him, too. But what all I'm trying to say to you is that you know it's going to be it's not going to be something that's going to harm you.
Right.
It's not going to be, but it could potentially harm LSU. I would hope not, because that would be ridiculous and stupid.
Exactly.
All I'm trying to say about Odell Beckham Jr. is, once again, there are headlines that are created by you that don't involve touchdowns on your behalf, and you're so great and you're so phenomenal. But we don't see enough of that in this particular year. It wasn't because of you, it was because of who you were playing with. But the bottom line is, regardless of the multitude of circumstances that have worked in your disfavor, why do you constantly find yourself in the news, albeit small, menial stuff? Why? That's all I'm saying.
I want to say my first reaction to this was I kind of loved it. I liked the fact, the main thing I liked about it was LSU alumni were sending an alum was sending the message. You come and win here, the biggest stars in the world are going to take care of you. I loved that at first. I got to tell you, Dominique, there's a guy on Get Up named Jalen Rose. I don't know if you're aware of him. He made a really good point, I thought, and it turned me around on it. Whatever Odell's a dude he's got a lot of heart. You know, that's one of the reasons many of his teammates like him, is because so he was doing it. It's like an emotional thing. But Jalen was right. When you stop to think about it, what's happening? They just won the national title. Arguably the greatest college football season ever. The greatest performance by a quarterback in college football history. All in the same come from behind win where they wind up thrashing the defending champs. 7 top 10 schools beaten, and this is their crowning achievement. And at that moment, are the rules of the NCAA ridiculous and hypocritical? Sure. But still, you are inviting attention, negative attention from the ruling governing body. Whatever you think of their rules, you're in a way sullying a moment and making it about you. And so if I were LSU, I'd take Odell aside and just be like, will you please not do that on the field anymore? If you want to do that where the cameras aren't rolling.
I understand if I was LSU, I'd be slightly annoyed by this. I haven't heard any of the players complain about it. Joe Burrow seemed to be good-natured. So some people are imposing their views on this, saying the players feel like their moment has been sullied. None of the players have put any voice behind that. So we can't do that. I'm not going to attempt to climb into Odell Beckham's mind. I'm just going to climb into my own head. And what I saw was an opportunity. And it frustrates me when this opportunity comes up for us. So Odell gave us a news peg by doing this. And instead of using that news peg to talk about the people who are propagating this exploitative system, we use it to say Odell Beckham is being selfish, or Odell Beckham is trying to make the moment about him. He's trying to take attention. To be honest with you, he's not taking any attention, because we don't talk about the national championship on Thursday anyway. We're talking about this because of what he did. And that's what disappoints me more than anything, is that instead of taking this moment to take a second to think about how crazy and absurd it is that the NCAA might penalize them for this or might investigate this, we take this moment to come down on Odell Beckham, who committed a crime that is not even a crime. Like, there is no victim in this situation. It seems to me that he is playing the middleman in a situation that should actually already happen. And they actually were smoking cigars in the locker room after the game. That is actually technically illegal. No one's tripping about those crimes because it's not a big deal. Relax.
But let me say this to you. Fair enough. I would completely 1,000% side with you, Dominique, if those words came out of Odell Beckham Jr.'s mouth. Because think about this. Odell Beckham Jr. could come before the cameras and sit up there and say, you know what, I gave them money on purpose. Because, damn it, look at the money they generated for college football. And these brothers deserve to get paid, so I paid them on purpose. Now, if he said that, then it's an entirely different discussion. I'm just saying. You understand? Because he's smart. He's smart.
I understand what you're saying, but he hasn't said anything. He hasn't put any voice.
No, I didn't say he did.
I know.
I'm saying
but
he should.
I'm saying we don't have to wait for him to say that. Like, it's the same thing with Colin Kaepernick or anybody else. It's like he gave us an opportunity to talk about it. I'm not saying Odell Beckham is on par with anybody like that. I'm being honest with you. He gave us an opportunity.
I think that's well argued.
He gave us an opportunity to talk about it, and instead of talking about it,
we're not disagreeing with you, D.R. We're not disagreeing with you.
I think that's well argued. Here's the problem as I see it. I use, and we use, almost every news peg around this issue to do just that.
Absolutely.
That does not mean that every single time it comes up, that's what it's about. In this case, the larger story, in fact, because none of us think it's that big a deal, what the real news peg is not college football's messed up system. It's Odell Beckham's ego. And whether or not sometimes that gets in the way of better decision making.
The only thing that I was saying, I'm not disagreeing with any of that, Max, but the only thing I would say to you, DR, is this. Intent does matter. Now, the bigger, grander picture that you want to take from it, no resistance. Stay with me. Just stay with me.
Okay.
No resistance whatsoever. Totally get you. But if somebody else's intent was different than what you're displaying and what you're disseminating, and they're the ones that's involved, does that not matter to some degree? Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.